Bit of rain out there. So hopefully this is going to blow our minds a little bit. In a quite literal sense, actually, because the body is the mind is the body, and it quite literally does need to inflate, and that's what's going to happen when we start to develop the balloon body. The balloon body. All of these whole network of fascia sheaths, these translucent tubes that surround all of the muscle layers. So the first thing we want to do is we want to become aware of our mass, our weight of our body. And then we need to learn how to sink our mind down, sink our awareness down. So that when we walk around or when we stand in one spot, we can let all the electrical energy in our mind sink down. That electrical energy that is going through our mind when we're using our left brain hemisphere to remember something and our right brain hemisphere to creatively process that memory, what happens is that's short-circuiting it, and then it's generating an energy field up here. And that energy field, it has a mass, it has a weight. So when we let go of our mind, that energy field will sink down and it will bring with it the mass of the body, will ground in that energy field. We let that energy field sink down through the body, down through the feet into the ground. And we need some basic structure of our body to do that properly, okay? We need to release in the ankles, release in the knees, release the hips, release the waist, the sacrum, up the spine. The sacrum, the coccyx, release it down to the ground. No need to pull it under like that, just release it down. And feel that. So now that we've released the electrical energy that was up here, we've released it down into the ground. Now we can let the bones of the feet relax. So the bones of the feet, usually the muscles in the feet, they end up carrying a bit of tension, yeah, as with a lot. But we start with the feet. So we want to release the bones of the feet by releasing the muscles, so that the muscles, instead of gripping on to the bones, they just release, and then they release kind of like if you would watch a duck. You watch a duck or some other wiggly woggly animal like that, goose, swan, some animal. No, not a chicken. They don't. I'm talking about the animals with the big webbed feet. Yeah, like ducks, swans, geese. You know, they can wiggly woggly and paddle around with their webbed feet. And watch when they walk, the webs of their feet, they relax, and then all of their inertia, the mass of their body, it goes down through that, it releases down, So we release the feet. Now we need to put our awareness in the feet. Put our mind in the feet. Release the feet. Release the ankles. Release the knees. Release the hip. Let the sacrum fall down. And start to release up the spine. And think about it. As you release, what happens when you have these balloon structures? We release our weight onto them. It goes boing. And then the buoyancy, we release down. It's like you compress a balloon slightly, and then the buoyancy comes up. The buoyancy bounces back up through the through the foot, up through the ankle, up through the calf, up through the knees, up through the thighs. It bounces up through the hips, the sacrum falls down, it starts to bounce up through the spine, and that energy extends right up to the cervical vertebra, and you just need to project it upwards. The problem is, for us human beings, we're very much focused on our eyes and what our eyes are taking in. The thing is, our whole nervous system is a big eye, okay, that can receive the light from, and if you think about it, the light is also in the electromagnetic spectrum, just as our inertia and our weight is also in the electromagnetic spectrum. So that means our whole nervous system, we can use it to orient ourselves in time and space. So long as we can release all of this electrical energy from all of this thinking, because us human beings, we have such a big oversized brain. So as soon as that releases, and that energy, of course, as we explained, it has a mass. Mass has density. Density extends beyond the body as well. Okay, so getting more high level now, but first we need to learn how to inflate this balloon body so that it's like if you would imagine a snowman, except instead of made of snow, it's made of balloons stacked on top of each other in the shape of the human body. And every single joint, that joint, the metacarpals, all of the bones of the wrist, all of the muscles between that, they all have these sheaths around them, these balloons that expand. So we let all the ones in the feet expand, the ankle is coming up. And when we release it down, we have all of our electrical energy, which is grounding the mass of the body, now falls through the whole body. And so it's like we imagine that the whole body is like a big complicated complex system of balloons with a tether coming down through all the balloons and with a weight on the bottom of that tether. So we just need to, as soon as our brain starts overthinking, what happens is that weight comes back up and we become top heavy and we lose our balance. But as soon as we let that electrical energy sink down through that tether, so it's like we have if you just imagine a snowman made of balloons and then a string going down through the center of those balloons with a massive weight going down beneath the ground, and then slightly pushing all those, compressing all those balloons together. And as balloons compress together, there's an upwards force that goes straight up through the center, comes straight up through the feet, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips. Sacrum sinks down, comes up through the spine, up through the cervical vertebra, up to the top. And we relax the chest, sink down. Okay, that's our balloon body mechanics, yeah? It's our balloon body. And we can start to become aware of that throughout the day. Even when we sit and do some sitting meditation, some meditation practice, it's still there, yeah? Very important to let that open up the whole body. The breathing sink down. And as we do some standing meditation, okay, let the weight go down through that tether, all of the electrical energy of the mind go down through the ground, and then boing, boing, it springs back up again, up through the spine. Awareness projects up, and then relax use a little bit of, just bring that in, and then pull that up. Okay, relax down. Everyone in your own time, yeah? I'm just doing me, you do you. So even if when I walk around, I have to let that tether still going straight through the ground. So now the spinal precession is a more high level version, one-legged version. And actually, I should say, with the spinal precession, you know, I tend to get a bit ambitious sometimes. You know, I try to, you know, just like when I do it like this, of course I want to try and open it up as much as possible, you know. Relax. Feel the whole shape of the balloon body start to change, and the compression is going back there, down through that whole system to the ground. Of course, see, I have, when I'm forward like that, this is closed, this is open. Now when I move that way, this closes, this opens. I move back, this starts to close, this starts to open. So that's how the precession works, okay? It's hard to say what exactly is going on a subatomic energetic level, but you know, we can see that so many things in nature, they have a precession. You know, the earth has a precession, you know. An electron, it has a precession, and perhaps according to quantum physics or whatever, electron, on the very lowest level of density of this dimension of this in our level of density, the lowest possible pressure gradient, the electron then spirals in through an angle which was called, I think, Cabebo angle or something. Spirals in, and then an opposite electron spirals back out again from there. But anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter what words we use, we just feel it going down. Okay, so now I won't get too ambitious. I'm just going to, instead of, because obviously if I was standing with 2 feet, I can have more balance, and I can open much more. I can open it right up, because I can manage as I come down, the density goes down there and then goes back there. I follow it around with my mind, follow the density with my mind. Okay, but if I go on one leg, it's more tricky. Now I'm going to have to not be so ambitious, just and of course there's that springiness again, yeah? So that I can maintain my balance, I have to let the joints of the body change, let all of the balloons change, so that my weight goes straight through down that tether. Now I'm not going to be too ambitious, I'm just going to and also the hip joint has to open up here. The hip joint has to be nice and loose. Don't try and keep your body fixed in one place, just let it adjust naturally. So I'm just working on a small precession, okay? And then as the joint starts to open up more, as you start to feel the buoyancy more, then you can try and open up even more.